Oh, there we go. I think we're clear now. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Is everybody feeling extra black today? Blickety black. I hope so. I hope you're feeling black. Put your hashtag B1 in the chat if you haven't done it yet. Hashtag B1 means that we're black first. We put ourselves at the top of the priority list. Times are changing. Black people have regained our self-esteem. At least some of us have. And the rest of you, I hope that you will also regain the interest in doing what's best for your community and your family. I am not one to tell you what to do. I want to start this off by making that 100% clear. I believe in you doing what's best for your family. I believe you're smart enough to do that. And that's really, really important. I want to make this point because I actually want to address something that I read from a person that I actually admire by the name of Ava Duvernay. Ava Duvernay, I don't know. I don't really hang out with a lot of Hollywood types. I get calls from them sometimes, but I'm a nerd. I'm kind of a introvert, so I don't really have a lot of friends. And I'm putting on my socks. My feet are cold, and so I don't really get a chance to meet everybody. But I hear from the grapevine about different people, and Ava's one of the people that I've heard good things about. I've heard, that she takes care of her friends, that she cares about the community, she cares about black women, which makes her good with me. I don't know her that much as a person, but I like her a little bit more than the other Hollywood types. But she wrote this interesting letter about voting, and I really think that this is worth thinking about. It's a great opportunity to dissect what we're dealing with as the election comes up and all this other stuff. And actually, as I begin, though, I want to make this 100% clear. I've told you guys what my position is. I used to say that I wasn't going to vote for either party, which actually most political scientists will actually tell you that that abstaining from voting is a way to vote. Actually, I know they'll tell you that if you don't vote, you don't count. Those people are not political scientists. I read up on some theories on political science, and in fact, if you look at practical examples in Congress, when congressmen feel that they're in an impossible position, when they're being forced to choose between a rock and a hard place, they choose neither. They say we don't want a rock, we don't want a hard place, so we're just not going to vote. And so abstaining from voting actually is not as crazy as some might lead you to believe. It's actually proven to be a strategy. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, I'm just telling you to get the information, get the facts, make an informed decision, and I know that that's a stretch in our community to tell people to make an informed, logical decision. I know it's a stretch to believe that black people in the masses can think for themselves, because a lot of people don't believe black people can think for themselves. A lot of people, perhaps correctly, know that black people are really open for a lot of manipulation, psychological manipulation, that you don't really have to tell them the truth. You just kind of scare them into whatever corner you want them to be backed in. And personally, I'm offended by that, and it doesn't work for somebody like me. But then again, I'm a professor. I have a PhD, so maybe my mind is more difficult to control, which is probably why I piss off a lot of politicians. I'm sure I make them angry because I'm going to see right through whatever it is that you have to say. Now, some might ask, and that's a very good question, like you seem to be more critical of the Democratic Party. Actually, the reason I'm more critical of the Democratic Party is pretty much because I'm incredibly critical of the Republican Party. Like the Republican Party, I'm so critical of the Republican Party that there's not even a debate about that, right? The Republicans aren't even in, like I talk about the Democrats because I actually want them to do better. I talk about the Democrats because I want to see them, I want to see them do what they need to do to get the black vote. The Republicans don't really have a chance to get my vote, so I don't even bring them up, so in a way, I'm more critical of the Democratic Party for the same reason you might be more critical of your own kids than you are of kids down the street. So I might say to my daughter, look, you need to do your homework. You're not, you want to go to the mall and you're crying because you can't go to the mall, and you're upset with me because you can't go to the mall. You feel like I'm dealing you an injustice because I won't let you go to the mall, but you needed to do your homework. You need to step up to the plate, and then you can go to the mall, right? So in a way, that's what you're saying to the Democrats. You're saying, look, we're not saying we won't support you. We're not saying we don't want to see you succeed. We're not saying that we don't agree with you about Donald Trump. We just want you to be able to go to the mall. Like, earn your keep. You got to earn your keep. Don't come crying. Don't come getting mad. Don't come saying I'm attacking you. Don't come saying I hate you, because that ain't true. We just want you to earn your keep. We want the party to do a better job of taking care of black folks. So I critique my daughter more than I critique kids in the neighborhood, because those ain't my kids, right? I critique my daughter more than I critique other children, because I don't feed those children. Those children are not in my family. I don't have nothing to do with it. I don't care, honestly, what they're, I wish them the best, but I ain't sitting around worried about what's happening to somebody's child down the block. I'm looking at my child, right? So the Democratic Party gets the most attention from a lot of black folks, because historically, the Democratic Party has been our party. You know, the party that we are. If we support a party, we're going to support that party. So that's why you see me speak on the Democrats more. And the idea that there are those who take any sort of black self-thought to be criticism, you might want to check that, because that's a white supremacist kind of rhetoric to say black people don't have the right to ask questions. Black people don't have the right to pressure you. Black people don't have the right to, negotiate in as tough of a way as you negotiate with us. And so anyway, let me dig in. Let me read some of this. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to drboycetv.com. The internet is an incredibly stupid place. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of just really stupid, crazy people out here. I'm crazy, but I'm not stupid. So if you want to get some discussion from people that are not afraid to ask the hard questions and are going to think things through, then subscribe to drboycetv.com. That's drboycetv.com. Am I voting? You know what? At first, I wasn't going to vote for either party, but then I decided that if I can write in a Dr. Claude Anderson, Vicky Dillard ticket, that's what I'm going to do. So I'll show up to the polls and I'll just write in who I would like to see as president. So there you go. So I'm not voting for the Democrats. Mind you, I'm not telling you what to do. I am not campaigning for anybody or anyone. Only people I'm campaigning for are black people. I vote for the black community. That's it. That's where I stop. That's where I get off the bus. So let me read Ava Duvernay's statement here. She says, "There's no debate anymore. There's no room for it in my book. We either make this happen or literally more of us perish. People are dying. Someone I love died. This virus is real. If it hasn't visited your doorstep, it will. Oh, but Kamala did this or she didn't do that. I hear you. I know. And I don't care. Because what she didn't do is abandon citizens in a pandemic, rip babies from their mother's arms at the border, send federal troops to terrorize protesters, manufacture new ways to suppress black and brown votes, actively disrespect indigenous people and land, traffic in white supremacist rhetoric in an effort to stir racist violence at every turn, attempt to dismantle most American democratic systems of checks and balance, degrade women all day, every day, infect the Supreme Court with another misogynist hack, demolish America's standing on climate, actively cultivate and further white supremacist structures and systems across all aspects of American daily life." I mean, that's what she didn't do. So I don't want to hear anything bad about her. It doesn't matter to me. Vote them in and then let's hold them accountable. Anything other than that is insanity. It's ego. It's against our own interests. It's selfish. It's disrespectful to our elders. It's nonsense. It's talking to hear yourself talk. This is a matter of life or death. We need all our energy focused. This is a fight for more than can be expressed here. There is no debate anymore. Not for me anyway. Vote blue 2020. Okay. Whew. That was a very powerful statement. She's very passionate, and I respect that passion. I respect the passion. One area where we would probably have a philosophical disagreement, though, is I tend to believe in some of what Dr. Claude Anderson says in Powernomics, that the fact that black people get so riled up to the point where we'll dismiss each other over two white based political parties, that's really, honestly, that's plantation shit. Like, that's really plantation shit. Like, where you literally are like, I will kill you because my massa is better than your massa, right? That's no different from, some gangsters shooting each other over, because I live on my white block. My block that's owned by white people is better than your block that's owned by white people. neither one of y'all own shit. So really what y'all need to do is be as smart as seriously, at the end of the day, and the Crips and Bloods figured this out. They said, wait, we up here killing each other over these blocks and we don't own none of these blocks and they trying to kill all of us. So why don't we get together? The smart Crips and the smart Bloods I know are people that know that now cross those lines. That now they're like, you know what, we in the same team. We in the same gang. Seriously, me killing you, me dismissing you and not wanting to be your friend anymore over, a political party that is ignoring both of us. Honestly, that ain't how you win. That ain't winning, black people. That's not winning, right? And you got to be careful about that because white supremacy has done that all around the world. Divide and conquer is the strongest strategy that white supremacists have used around the world. That's why the Hutus and the Tutsis in Rwanda were slaughtering each other because white people put a little carving knife in the middle of a population, spread them apart, and said, okay, I need you to go kill him because he don't like you. You go kill him because he don't like you. And then when y'all killing each other, we're going to be in the background taking all the land and enslaving everybody, right? So I'm not really big on getting all riled up over what the Democrats or the Republicans do. So that's one thing. And that's actually, that's a philosophy that if you read Powernomics, Dr. Anderson talks about being black first. That's why we do #B1, because it says, look, I can love you. If you're black and you have the best interest of the black community at heart, I can love you through our differences of opinion. If I'm a Democrat, I can still love a Republican. If I'm more traditional, I can still love somebody who might be feminist. If I'm straight, I can love somebody who's gay. It does not matter. At the end of the day, all those issues are not a problem as long as you're not wearing them on your sleeve and using that as an opportunity to become more divided from your brother. And I'm going to tell you who has this down better than anybody. Peep game. Pay attention. The game is out there. The group that has this down better than anybody is the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam. Shout out to the Nation of Islam because I have a lot of friends in the nation because I'm in Chicago and I've been to the Minister Farrakhan's house and everything. And wonderful man. And I have always been astonished by how they can really love you through your bullshit. Like they can really just, not everybody, not that the nation's perfect, not that everybody in the nation's perfect, but the guys and the women that I know, I've just been so impressed with their level of patience and tolerance, something that we've lost as a country. They just have basic tolerance for political differences. Okay, you said tomato, I say tomato. Let's go eat lunch. You gonna eat tomatoes. I'm gonna eat tomatoes, but we eating at the same restaurant and we eating the same meal, right? Like I think that's really something that is powerful because that's how you create unity. Is to just sort of say, okay, if you're different from me, how do I at least begin our conversation by focusing first and foremost on what we have in common before I find something that we have apart? Like, where's the common ground? Where's the goal to reconcile? How can I ignore the parts of you that don't work for me, but focus on the parts of you that do, right? I don't know if it's black people, we do that very well. I think we could all do better on that. So to just focus specifically on Ava's letter, the biggest problem I have with the letter is that Ava's letter, as passionate as it is, all the smoke she brings to this beautifully written letter, she's a great artist. She's very dramatic, very intelligent, very able to really lay the drama out. The problem I have is that, Ava, if you're watching, you should never have written this letter to black people. Ava, you shouldn't have written this letter to black people. You should have been writing this letter to white people. You shouldn't have been writing it to the people. You should be writing it to the Democratic Party. You should be writing this letter to the white people who are offended by the idea that black people demand something as basic as reparations, and they can't support that. You need to ask them, what is it that offends you so much about black people wanting their due? Like, nobody can really debate that we are owed reparations. Nobody can debate. I mean, it's been proven 10 million times that about $13 trillion was stolen from our community. So you should probably ask them, because I'm sure Ava's got more white friends than I do. I don't hang out with a lot of white people. I'm going to be honest with you. Ask them, why are you, if you're a liberal, a Democrat, and you're supposedly my ally, why are you so deeply offended by the fact that we want reparations? Right? Because it comes down to a few basic issues. Basic stuff. You know, I think a lot of people really wanted to like Kamala Harris. They really wanted to support the Democrats and Joe Biden. A lot of people do. Some of y'all are Republican, and I love you too. I don't care. I'm not judging. But it's really kind of like, you know, all this smoke, this is one of the big problems. All this smoke is being aimed not at the abuser, it's being aimed at the abused. You know, and I don't like putting black people in that abused victim role. I don't like that very much. But they kind of aim all that smoke at us. Like, get your shit together. You need to show up and vote. They need y'all. We need to be, you know, it's going to be the end of the world. You know, and people are tired of that. I mean, some people can do that, and they can do that in every election. But I'm too old for that. I'm too smart for that. I've been watching this for 25 years. I mean, I'm just like, man, they really sound just like people sounded back in 1992 when Bill Clinton got elected. I mean, it's the same model. It's the same programming. It's the same process. It's all built on fear, scaring you into doing what they want you to do. It's a type of mind control. And so I think this letter needs to be written to white people. I think it needs to be written to the Democrats. You know, I think that same passion needs to go right there to your buddy Kamala Harris, because I'm sure you're all friends, and you need to say, look, girl, you need to kill all this shit. Some of this stuff that you've done, you need to fix this, right? And here's another thing. Let me tell you a little secret. I have with Alicia, some of y'all know this, some of you don't, but you know I'm getting engaged to a beautiful black woman who's a very smart black woman, by the way. It makes me a better man to be sitting next to a smart black woman every morning, and even when she tells me I'm full of shit. And we talk to our therapist every week. We have a relationship therapist. I highly recommend it for anybody that wants to have a healthy relationship with your man or with your woman. You need to get a therapist. And also another thing that I did that can really benefit you is you should read a book about the opposite sex and try to seek to understand without judging. Really, there's a book that I read many years ago by Dr. Barbara DeAngelis called What Women Want Men to Know. And she studied thousands of women, and she was laying out, these are the things women like, these are the things they don't like. These are the turnoffs, these are the turn-ons. And when you say this, she's hearing that. When you say that, she's hearing this. It was mind-boggling because it really highlighted to me how differently men and women think. And also, another point that the therapist made that I thought was really great is he basically explained to both of us, not just me, explained to both of us, because Alicia and I are both PhDs, so we're kind of we can get into know-it-all mode. You know, we can get into this whole, you know, like, well, let me tell you, my doctorate tells me that, blah, 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 blah. And when I was in graduate school, I learned such and such a theory, and we get into the point where we start bumping heads. And he basically said, y'all need to both learn how to shut the fuck up and listen. Y'all both need to learn how to shut up and listen. You know, when you're hearing her, he taught me how to listen to a woman. He said the studies show that women have things they want to say, and your job is not, you know, this is what I do. I'm a fixer. I'm a mathematician, so I'm always solving problems. He said your job is not to fix it. Your job is not to squash it. Your job is not to walk away from it. You need to listen, actively engage, and let her get that out. Let her get, he said those stress relieving conversations are huge in saving relationships, right? So my point, the reason I bring up that story is because that's what you find is missing in this whole conversation about the Democratic Party and black people. That's what's missing. They are talking at black people, but they're not fucking listening to black people. The black elite, unfortunately, those individuals who get invited to White House Christmas parties, who are friends with celebrities, who are on CNN pontificating on why they just don't understand why black people won't vote, they're not even talking to those black people who aren't voting. They're not sitting down. You know, think about this. Dr. Claude Anderson is an experienced political figure. He ran education for the entire state of Florida. He knows politics very well. He wrote one of the most influential books in the history of all black people, and they don't even want to have one conversation with this man. They won't even sit down and say, okay, tell us give us your bullshit. They won't even do that. They will literally have important meetings about the black community and not even invite black people to participate. Like, I'm talking about the masses of black people. They'll invite the highlighted Negroes that are on mainstream television so they can all sit around and be confused about why black people won't vote. Maybe if you want to know why black people won't do something, maybe you need to learn how to listen to black people instead of getting on the radio and preaching at black people. Because the big thing that we've all heard, many of us have heard many times, is those of us who, those in my space, again, I'm in a different kind of space. The people that follow me, they tend to be more educated. 2/3 of the people that come to my class in the Black Business School are college graduates. It's just, I don't know. I guess I don't know why, but that's what it is, right? They also tend to have a strong black identity. So typically, if you don't have a strong black identity and you're not trying to become educated and you're not willing to kind of fight through and look outside the box, you're not usually going to vibe with someone like myself. But at the end of the day, that's a huge demographic. There are people like me that connect to millions and millions and millions of people, and so, we're not mainstream Negroes. Like, I'm never gonna, I don't ever plan to be on BET or whatever with the Dr. Boyce show on BET. I don't even want that. They couldn't hire me. But there's a demographic out there that you're not reaching, and you're not trying to reach them. You don't care to reach them. You just seek to condemn them and to do what a lot of white liberals do. This is my issue with white liberals. They're very good at telling you what's wrong with you. They're very good at calling you out and blasting you and canceling you and telling you that you didn't use the right word. You're homophobic. You're blah, blah, blah phobic. You're thisophobic. You're fatophobic. They make up all these terms that they use to label and to attack those who don't get in line. And that, unfortunately, is a direct assault on freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and the very liberties that our ancestors died for. So when Ava writes in the article that, or in her well-written letter, I'm going to give Ava that respect, when she writes that it's disrespectful to the elders, I think that she's a little bit off base with that, because I know a lot of elders who don't really care which party you vote for. They didn't die for you to have the right to be a Democrat. Your ancestors did not die for you to have the right to be controlled by a political party that talks at you but doesn't want to talk to you. They died for you to be free. And if you're using fear and peer pressure and all other forms of intimidation to get me to vote for you, then you're not supporting my right to be free. I mean, you can't argue with that point. You're not supporting my right to be free. Freedom, again, pay attention now. Pay attention. Listen, look at the difference here. They're talking at you and telling you what to do. They're telling you that if you don't do this, that you're stupid. If you don't do this, you're a bad person. If you don't do this, you're not helping the cause. If you do this, you must be a Trump supporter. I can't tell you how many times I've been called a Trump supporter, and now I just don't even respond, because I'm like, if you're stupid enough to think that I'm a Trump supporter just because I'm not a Democrat, that means that you and I are not operating in the same space. You need another 20 years of experience before we can even have a conversation on this, because you do know that you don't have to be a Republican if you're not a Democrat, right? You do understand that, but pay attention. So that's what they're doing now. When I speak to you guys, and you can go, I dare anybody to go back and find a single video anywhere. I've done probably 10,000 videos. 10,000, because I'm passionate. I love talking to my people. I love educating my people. I'm in here every morning consistently. I've been doing this for over a decade. You can't find one video of me telling black people who to vote for. You can't. There is no video where I say, I'm not voting. Neither should you. If you vote, then you stupid. What's wrong with you? You need to stay home like me. You need to do what I tell you to do. I don't do that. I support something that is as basic and as simple as possible that I hope that you can't disagree with, which is just do you. Do what's best for your family. Do what's best for your community. Do what your conscience guides you to do. Because at the end of the day, don't none of these people give a shit about you. They don't give a damn about you. They give a damn about getting your vote. They give a damn about getting their power. They give a damn about getting into office. They don't care about you. If you live on the south side of Chicago and your 8-year-old daughter gets blasted in the head, and it happens to be at a time where Black Lives Matter, the white-run organization that they are, is told to focus on something else, ain't nobody going to pay attention to the fact that your daughter got shot in the head, except for the people that know you, except for the people who live on that same block, who have seen the crime and the violence in that same community. They're the only ones who are going to care. Even local Chicago black politicians aren't going to give half a damn. So I'm personally just saying, look, you're in this thing kind of by yourself. And if you don't represent your own interests, then nobody will. And when I read, when I read letters like this, it really kind of, it's very sad to read because it's well written, and I get what she's saying. You can make a long list. You can write a list. You can make a list that's 20 pages long of all the reasons Donald Trump is a screwed up human being. But the interesting thing is that the Republicans can write the same damn list about the Democrats. Everybody is a hypocrite. Nobody can sit down and tell you, this is why you should vote for me. This is what I'm going to do for you. This is how I'm going to take care of you. This is how I'm going to earn your vote. Everybody spends their time telling you why the other person is screwed up, right? So in a way, I think about it like if you have a wife who's been abused by her husband. She's been getting her ass kicked. She's been disrespected. He left her on the bus stop. He ain't taking care of the kids. He ain't doing nothing right as a man. He's basically disrespecting her in every way. And then she decides to walk away from the relationship. She says, you know what? I can do better than this. I can do bad by myself. I don't even know if I have any options, but I'm just going to leave. I know a woman like that who got to the point where she tried to leave her husband. And it was really fascinating. She said, because it really parallels to this. She said that when she was leaving him because she couldn't take it anymore, everybody was trying to talk to her. Everybody was like, why are you doing this? You're going to hurt the kids. He's you really need to give him another chance. She's like, I've gave him 10,000 chances. He didn't take them. Well, you need, this isn't real. This is not good. She said her friends abandoned her. Like there was peer pressure from friends and family and everybody. And even the man was like, well, if you leave me, you can't pay the bills by yourself. Ain't nobody going to want you because you're old and you're not as pretty as you used to be. And all of that. And she had to get to the point where she just hit rock bottom before she was ready to walk away. She had to do what black folks have had to do politically. Black people have hit rock bottom. Black people are at a point where they just sick of your shit. Not all black people. Some people can still stick it out and hang in there. Like I'm sure that there were some women that would have stayed with their husbands despite everything that she went through, and God bless them. But she was a person who was like, I'm just tired. I'm going to leave. And you know what she had to say? She didn't say, look, I'm leaving you for a better man, right? Because he'd be like, well, that guy at work, you trying to go date him? Well, he's screwed up and he's stupid. He's going to treat you worse than I do. And then she's like, no, I'm not leaving for another man. And she was like, I just want to get the fuck away from you. I'm okay being by myself. Like I'm going to just, if I got to go leave and live in the projects and take my kids and be alone for the next 40 years, even being alone by myself is better than being with you. And you're right. I don't have any better options. I don't have another man waiting that's going to come and ride me away on a white horse. But I'm leaving this relationship because I'm leaving this relationship. I'm not leaving this relationship because I want to go date him. I'm leaving the relationship because I don't want to be with you. That's why I'm leaving. I'm leaving because I don't want to be with you. And because you don't understand this only confirms the fact that I need to get the fuck out of here as soon as possible. And so the Democratic Party and the black community, it's the same situation. I believe that most black folks who have decided for whatever reason to not participate in the next election are just fed up and tired. Many of them voted for Obama in 2008. Got excited, cried when he got elected, were hoping for the best, felt like, okay, this is really it. Bill Clinton was supposed to be the first black president, but I got my heart broken. But this is the real thing, the real deal, right? And then they sat there for 8 years, very frustrated, very loyal for a very long time, and just got tired, just got worn out, just like my friend got worn out in that horrible marriage. And similar to my friend, when the marriage breaks up and you're walking away from the marriage, they're not talking to him. Like none of these people that were putting pressure on her to go back to him and guilt tripping her about abandoning the family and guilt tripping her about giving up on the marriage. None of those people were going to him and basically saying, you're going to have to straighten up your shit. You're going to have to evolve as a human being if you want to keep this woman in your life. She might be, maybe she's not perfect. Maybe she wants more than she should want, or maybe she wants more than another woman would want. But if you really truly want this marriage to work, then you're going to have to step your game up and you're going to start listening to this woman. And so the same thing is true here. Maybe some black folks demand a higher sticker price for their vote. Maybe some black folks expect a little more than others. Maybe some black folks expect, you to really talk about reparations and really act like you're going to do something. Maybe black folks, are just not going to accept certain things that other people will accept. Maybe some black folks are not as impressed that Kamala Harris is an AKA there's other people. I understand. If you're an AKA, I totally get it. Why you'd be proud to have another AKA in the White House. My sister's an AKA. My daughter's an AKA. I got other friends I get that, right? But some people aren't impressed by that. So at the end of the day, they have a choice. You can continue with these same bully tactics, this voter suppression. I call it voter suppression. When you cannot convince someone under their own free will to vote for a candidate because they are simply the best option, but you instead resort to tactics that involve bullying, peer pressure, guilt tripping them, scaring them, fear. They notice there's almost no appeal to black voters that does not involve fear. This letter, unfortunately, Ava, I love you, sister, but this letter leans heavily on fear. And I get that because black people there are some black folks, because of what we've gone through, who are easily triggered by fear. There are some folks who just live in fear, live in a box of fear. I know somebody who literally, since the COVID crisis began, has not seen her grandchildren and does not plan to see them for the rest of the year. And she's 80 years old. And the idea that an 80-year-old would never see her grandchildren, based on a virus that actually, according to an MIT professor, has about a 1 in 3,000, 1 in 4,000 chance of killing you. That's really, really sad to me. That makes me very, very sad. So I'm not telling her what to do. I think that fear is such a powerful thing, that fear can get you to take something that has a 99.99999% chance of not happening, and in your mind you really think it's going to happen, right? So some of us as black people, I think, don't operate with fear. Some of us have a revolutionary spirit. So a revolutionary spirit says, and this is what I consider to be true black power. A revolutionary spirit says, look, I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm going to go find out. It's like when my friend walked away from that abusive marriage. Her revolutionary spirit stuck out and said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Maybe I will suffer. Maybe I'll go broke and be bankrupt. Maybe we will be living in the projects. Maybe I'll never meet another man for the next 40 years. So I've accepted all of that. Like I'm ready for all of that, because being free, the desire to be free, exceeds my fear of the known, the unknown, and the unknown unknowns, right? That my desire exceeds my fear, right? So there's some black people who live that way. They live with true, what I consider to be true faith. True faith means that you say, you know what? If I'm working my ass off, if I'm staying positive, if I'm a good person and I do the right thing with my life, something good's going to happen to me. Something good's bound to happen. But I know I'm going to go through the fire in order to get there. I know that to get to my heaven, I'm going to have to cross through the fires of hell. That is a little game for anybody that really wants to be successful in life, that really wants to achieve your dream, whatever it is. It might be something as basic as getting out of a bad marriage. It might be something bigger, like becoming a billionaire or something. But just understand this. In order for you to get to your heaven, you will have to get through hell. So if you are scared of the fire, if you are scared of the hell, then don't even act like you're going to ever get to heaven, because heaven does not come to those who wait. Heaven comes to those who can't wait. Heaven comes to those who don't give a shit no more. Heaven comes to those who are ready to go balls to the wall, hardcore, 100%, and move forward on complete faith, not knowing what's going to happen in the future. It's a very scary thing to do. So I understand actually why most people are afraid to do that. So when I look at all of this politically, I just see this as a situation where, something's got to change. Something's got to get better. And I know we sing songs like, change gonna come, or we shall overcome someday. Those Negro spiritual type songs. No disrespect. Those are great songs, but those are not songs that I resonate with entirely, because I'm more of an active thinker. My thought is, if you keep doing exactly what you've been doing, you're probably going to get exactly what you've been getting. Like, I don't really understand how you can do the same thing and think you're going to get a different result. And if you look at most of the indicators of black progress, we're not moving forward, we're moving backward. We're not getting wealthier, we're losing wealth. We're not getting safer and happier and better off, we're actually worse off. And so in order for you to have a chance to be better off, I encourage you to rethink everything. You got to tear down the whole model of blackness, your whole model of what you think is black culture, what you think black people are supposed to do, what you think you're supposed to do politically, economically, socially, and in terms of your family. Chop all that down and rebuild from the bottom up. Because a lot of what you've been fed since you were a child is complete nonsense. It is a complete myth. It is a complete lie. It is nothing but the keys to slavery. And my friend, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a slave. So no disrespect to Ava Duvernay. Whatever she does, I'm still going to like her. I still think she's a great filmmaker. I respect that. I respect what she's saying here. I agree. Donald Trump's a bastard. If that's what you're convincing me of, that's true. But I'm not going to vote for anybody just because you convince me that the other person's bad. That's a standard tactic. Fear does not work. All this stuff about, babies at the border. I'm sorry. Most of my African-American friends are not immigrants from Mexico. So they didn't come across the Rio Grande to try to get here. So we're not relating to that as black people, a lot of us. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to do that. If that's your thing, like if you really, if you really cry because little Paco from El Salvador got held at the detention center, then God bless you. But I'm going to cry because little Tyrone ain't seen his daddy since 1994 because Joe Biden and Bill Clinton passed mass incarceration initiatives that sent more black men to prison than any president in American history. That's who I'm crying for. I'm crying for Tyrone. You cry for little Paco. And then when shit hits the fan, I want to see if Lil Paco's family shows up to defend and support your black ass when the shit really, when you really need them, right? I don't really think, and here's the thing, and this is my final point on this, and then I'll be done. I believe, and this letter is one of those, what I would call a we need to save America letters, right? They write these letters to black people, and we are intimidated by fear, guilt tripped, peer pressure to go and save America, right? She's basically saying, if we don't act now, all is lost, right? If we don't act now, then we're gonna go straight to hell as a country. If we don't act now, then it's gonna be over for us. And the problem is that it happens all the time. It happens in every election. Letters like this get written in every single election. In every single election, fear is the number one tactic that's used by politicians and by media because studies show that fear motivates people more than anything else. That's why they're doing this. This is scientific, right? So here's the deal. You're asking black people to save America, just like you're asking an abused woman to save her family by staying in a bad marriage. Everybody wants black people to save America. Black people have been saving America since before slavery. And what's fascinating is that as many times as black people have saved America, nobody cares about coming to save us. Right? As much as we have come through for this country as veterans, as voters, as consumers, and all these other things that we've done, everybody's pretty much showed up and did a R. Kelly and peed on our forehead and then went out and handled their business and said, damn, these people really don't give up. Like they really are holding on to this whole white love thing. Like they really, really believe that one day we're going to really care about them. If they're that stupid, then God bless them. Then we'll just keep on using them till the cows come home. I'm not one of those people. That's it. You want my vote, you got to earn it. If you don't earn it, then fuck it. We just have to let the chips fall where they may. We'll just let it happen. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. If 4 years of Trump is going to happen, well, guess what? I survived 4 years of Trump already. I'll survive 4 more. Seriously, I survived the first 4. My life didn't get better. It didn't get worse. It just didn't. It got more traumatized, right? Because everybody's running around scared to death. But in terms of how I feed my kids, those babies in that bedroom, they got took care of the same way under Trump as they did under Obama. That black woman I loved her as much under Trump as I loved her under Obama. My life, my career, all the things that I'm passionate about that I work on, they were pretty much the same under Trump as they were under Obama. The number one factor in my life, and I believe this is true for most people, the number one factor that determined how happy I was, how healthy I was, how safe I was, and how successful I was my decision to get my ass up and do the work or not to do the work. When I didn't do the work, it didn't work out. When I did do the work, it did. So I survived 4 years of Trump. You can't scare me by threatening me with something that I just survived. Like you can't tell me 4 years of Trump is going to be end of the world because I went through 4 years of Trump. It wasn't the end of the world. I don't love Trump, but I've never loved the person in the White House. I don't give a shit. Right? I love my family. That's who I love. I love black people. That's who I love. I don't love Donald Trump. I don't love Joe Biden. They're the same guy for the most part. So I think just in general, I don't really know if we should let ourselves as a people get distracted by all these issues that don't really honestly have a lot to do with what's happening in your life on a day-to-day basis. It only affects what you see on your Facebook feed. That's all it is. Most of us, and this is what the one point I'll make. I know I keep saying this is the last point, but I got to make this point. Alicia is an expert on the subconscious mind. My fiance is a therapist, and she understands deeply not just the subconscious mind, but also metaphysics. And one of the things that we've discussed on a regular basis is that when you're constantly seeing negative, traumatic stuff on your news feed, when you're constantly watching scary stuff on the news, and when people are constantly telling you that the world's coming to an end, that because you're black, you can't make it, and being black means one trauma after another, that traumatizes you, that affects you. That makes you take a good life and to see a good life as a bad life. And so one thing that we decided to do is we just stopped watching. In the middle of COVID and all that, we just stopped watching the news. We would look at the data. I would say, well, let me check the COVID numbers. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to look it up on the CDC website. I'm going to look at we watch C-SPAN because C-SPAN, shout out to C-SPAN. They give the facts. They give me information. And information allows me to make a decision for my family. CNN gives me spin. MSNBC is spinning because they're trying to win an election. Fox News is spinning because they're trying to win an election. I don't need spin because I don't need you to think for me. So maybe that's what makes us different, is because we're both educated to a certain level. We don't need you to give us our brain. Like, we don't need you to tell us what to think. We got that covered. Just like, Alicia is a great cook. She doesn't need somebody else to come in and cook the food every day in our house. She's a great mom. She doesn't need another mother to come in and take care of her kids. So we're both good thinkers. So we don't need somebody else to tell us how to interpret the data. We know how to interpret the data, right? And so at the end of the day, and I hear you what you're saying. Somebody said you're selfish in your thinking. I get what you're saying. That's fine. And you do what you're going to do. But at the end of the day, you don't think white people are selfish in their thinking? You don't think the Democrats aren't selfish in their thinking? You don't think that all the people seeking to control you aren't selfish in their thinking? So if you're not selfish on some level, where you're taking care of yourself, black first, taking care of your family first, your people first, your community first, your own life first, then you might be a damn fool, because everybody that you're dealing with is handling their own business first. Everybody that you're talking to is taking care of themselves first. So if you're the one person, this goes back to my theory though. This tells you about what's beautiful about black people. We will literally be sitting in a room where everybody is taking care of themselves, but we're the only goddamn servant in the fucking room who says, I need to take care of everybody else except me. And if anybody will tell you anything, almost every therapist will explain to you that if you spend your whole life constantly giving to others and you expect nothing in return, you will deplete yourself to the point of oblivion. That's how a lot of moms become very depressed and lose themselves in relationships, because they give into the man, they give into the kids, they taking care of the family, they paying all the bills, they handling everything. And then one day she's super depressed and can't get out of bed, or sick and dying from some disease, right? And she doesn't know why. Well, it could be because you've given so much that you have nothing left for you. So I'm just telling you, save something for yourself. Like, whatever that means for you. If voting makes you, if voting gives that to you, then go do it. Go vote. Go vote. Just don't tell me what to do. That's it. Just stop. Don't try to impose your will on me. That's my biggest issue with a lot of the white liberal allies we have, is they love to tell other people what to do. I had a friend who was a liberal. She's a white liberal in blackface. She was black, but she pretty much recited all the white liberal talking points, which I've analyzed extensively over the last 30 years. And I listened to her talk and everything. And one day she was just like, I don't know if I can be your friend with your views. I don't know if I can just be around you if you think that way and talk that way. And I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with you? Like, what you're infringing on my freedom to be who I am. Like, you can't. I don't have a problem being your friend. I've heard bullshit come out of your mouth, things that I thought were crazy, but I respected it because You're a free human being in a free country. You can believe what you want. It has no threat to me because it doesn't affect my life. You don't pay no bills in my house. I don't work for you. So I'm not offended by what you think. So you shouldn't be offended by what I think. Let me have my thoughts. Let me have my ideas. Let me have my point of view and my perspective. And if you're really smart, most people aren't smart enough to do this. But let me give you a tip. If you're really smart, you won't dismiss views that are different from your own. You'll talk to those people and listen so you can learn another perspective outside of your own. Seriously, I enjoy talking to people who disagree with me more than I enjoy talking to people who agree with me. If you agree with me, that's cool. We can be friends, but really you're going to just reinforce what I'm already believing so you can actually throw me off balance because you're just going to repeat what I just said, right? Which means that it's going to further confirm in my own mind that what I'm saying must be right because we all agree. But if you disagree, like if you say, well, here's another way to look at it, then I'm going to go, okay, well, let me look at it from another way, right? That's called balance, people. That's called balance. We don't have balance as a country right now. We are in the midst of a very subtle civil war that has led to our country being more divided than it's been in 200 and something years. And if you think that's good for America, then you don't know history very well because countries that go through this end up destroying themselves. You destroy yourself from the inside out because you're not talking to each other anymore. So again, I go back to my point. Here's my recommendation to Ava Duvernay. If Ava or her friends are watching this video, so one of y'all, by the time we're done, maybe 100,000 people see the video. I'm sure some of y'all know Ava. Feel free to tell her that I said this. This is my recommendation. Start listening to people who disagree with you. If you really want to make a sale to that customer, like if you're really trying to sell your buddy Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party to those black people who are not fully bought in, start listening to those people. Make a call to a Dr. Claude Anderson and just let him talk. Let him tell you what his frustrations are. That's how you convince someone. That's how, if you're a guy and you're trying to get a girl to go out with you and she keeps saying no, then you's a damn fool if you don't ask her like what her objections are. Maybe it's something basic. Maybe it's something easily fixed. But then again, it might be something that you can't fix, right? You might just be too ugly or too short and you can't help it. But it might be something, that can be easily addressed. But if you never listen, you'll never learn. And people don't listen. We don't listen to each other. And also elite black people don't tend to listen to those who are outside the elite. The house Negroes don't listen to the field Negroes, and the field Negroes have been screaming. And that's what they're pissed off about because the field Negroes are now organized. So stay organized. Keep doing what's best for you. Keep loving yourself. Keep loving your community. That's my advice for you at the end of the day. Be free. Find true freedom. Freedom means doing what works for you and your family. God bless you. Okay, thank you guys for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. Also, what's up on Instagram? My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So if you want to keep it real, follow me at The Real Boyce Watkins. And also don't forget, on the Black Business School Instagram, we're promoting black businesses for free. So we do black business shout outs on a regular basis. So if you have a black owned business and you want to get some more customers, just look for the Black Business shout out. I'll shout it out periodically and we'll promote your business for free. All right, guys, have a good day. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you and have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Peace.